The Women in Aviation International Pioneer Hall of Fame was established in 1992 to honor women who have made significant contributions as record setters, pioneers, and innovators. Special consideration is given to individuals or groups who have helped other women be successful in aviation or open doors of opportunity for other women. Each year, the organization solicits nominations from throughout the aviation industry for the WAI Pioneer Hall of Fame. The Pioneer Hall of Fame inductees for 2010 are Suzanna Darcy-Hennemann. Suzanna says that her grandparents were a tremendous influence on her as a child. They always believed that she could become whatever she desired and worked hard to become. At 3, she was told, she looked up and saw an airplane and told her grandmother that she was going to fly. It took a while to get there. A guidance counselor in high school steered her to engineering, and after 3 years of Cal Poly Institute and 1 year at the University of Washington, she graduated and joined the Boeing company as an engineer. But it wasn't close enough to the airplanes, and she decided to apply to the training department. She was turned down, but upon discovering the qualifications she needed, she took a year and gathered them and then came back and reapplied for the position. They hired her, and she began teaching ground school to mostly international airline captains, learning the new Boeing aircraft, most of which were the first to have glass cockpits and computer controls. Darcy-Hennemann says, if you work really hard, then opportunity will collide with your hard work and you'll be rewarded. For her, that came when she was introduced to a VP of training who asked her if she'd ever considered flying for a living. She said, why, yes. A year later, she was interviewed and hired into the test pilot division of the Boeing company. That was 25 years ago. Suzanna Darcy-Hennemann, then a senior test pilot with Boeing's 777 program, and Captain Frank Santoni, chief 777 test pilot, pose in the cockpit of a new 777-200 long range at Everett's Boeing plant before the plane's maiden flight. Darcy-Hennemann became rated as a captain on the Boeing 747-400 in 1989 and later achieved captain status on the 737, the 57, the 67, and the 777 jetliners, and the first captain that was a woman on the 747-400 and 777, and holds a letter of authorization on the 787. Today, she is the chief training pilot for the Boeing company for the almost 700 instructor pilots globally, delivering training for initial type ratings as well as recurrent training. She was the first woman to captain a 747-400, the first woman to captain a 777, and the first woman to test pilot employed by Boeing in both production and experimental flight tests. She broke the distance record in the greater than 661,000-pound weight class when she and her crew flew a 777-200 long range from Hong Kong to London. She is an active mentor spanning 2 more generations of women test pilots with 6 other women currently in her department. Please join me in welcoming Suzanna Darcy-Hennemann into the Women in Aviation International Pioneer Hall of Fame. Sullivan. Dr. Sullivan was a member of the first Space Shuttle astronaut class and the first American woman to walk in space. Very good. Most of Dr. Sullivan's efforts prior to joining NASA were concentrated in academic study and research. She was an Earth Sciences major at the University of California, Santa Cruz, and spent 1972, 1 and 2, as an exchange student at the University of Bergen, Norway. Her bachelor's degree with honors was awarded in 1973. Her doctoral studies at Dalhousie University included participation in a variety of oceanographic expeditions under the auspices of the U.S. Geological Survey, Woods Hole Oceanographic Institute, and the Bedford Institute. Her research includes the Mid-Atlantic Ridge, the Newfoundland Basin, and fault zones off the Southern California coast. She is a veteran of 3 space shuttle missions, logging more than 530 hours in space. Selected by NASA in January 1978, Dr. Sullivan became an astronaut in August 1979. Dr. Sullivan was a mission specialist on STS-41G, that was in 1984, STS-31 in 1990, and STS-45 in 1992. Dr. Sullivan's research interests at NASA were focused on remote sensing. She qualified as a systems engineer operator in NASA's WB-57F high-altitude research aircraft in 1978 and participated in several remote sensing projects in Alaska. She was a co-investigator on the Shuttle Imaging Radar B experiment, which she flew on mission STS-41G. She is a captain in the U.S. Naval Reserve, as well as a private pilot who flies her own super decathlon. In 1993, she served as chief scientist at the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, where she oversaw the agency's $500 million research and technology portfolio and represented the U.S. in many international scientific forums. In 1993, Dr. Sullivan left NASA to accept a presidential appointment to the post of chief scientist at the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, NOAA. Here she oversaw a wide array of research and technology programs ranging from climate and global change to satellites and marine biodiversity. From 1996 to 2006, Dr. Sullivan served as president and CEO of the Center of Science and Industry in Columbus, Ohio. Under her leadership, COSI strengthened its impact on science teaching in the classroom and its national reputation as an innovator of hands-on, inquiry-based science learning resources. Dr. Sullivan is currently located in Columbus, Ohio, at the John Glenn School of Public Affairs, Ohio State University. In 2006, she was named the first director of the Battelli Center for Mathematics and Science Education Policy at the John Glenn School of Public Affairs at Ohio State University, where her passion for igniting in others the wonder and importance of science, math, and technology is focused at the Battelli Center for Math and Science Education Policy. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Kathryn Sullivan into the Women in Aviation International Pioneer Hall of Fame. May I ask all of the inductees to please stand, and let's give them a big round of applause.